A wise man once said the climate crisis is both the easiest and the hardest issue we have ever faced. Today we will be saving our planet with Amisha Angrish. Let's start with the greenhouse effect. This is the effect of greenhouse gases trapping heat more released by Earth than the necessary amount to sustain life on Earth. This leads to an increase in temperature. You may be wondering, how does it work and what are the greenhouse gases and how do they relate to the greenhouse effect? Greenhouse gases trap the Earth's radiated heat to the atmosphere. Due to an increase in industries and deforestation, the number of greenhouse gases increased in the atmosphere and hence the amount of heat trapped also increased, leading to the rise in the Earth's temperature. Greenhouse gases are the ones that trap heat radiated by the Earth after absorption. They are carbon dioxide, water vapor, etc. They are in a large amount in the atmosphere now due to man-made activities, thereby trapping more heat than the normal value to assist life on Earth. The greenhouse effect is important to life because it keeps the temperature normal on Earth, keeping the organisms living longer. When the number of greenhouse gases increases, the number of heat increases, and hence the organisms will not bear the heat and may become extinct. Now let's continue with climate change. Global warming is the rise in the temperature of the Earth due to man-made activities. This affects the seasons on the Earth. How are the greenhouse effect and climate change/global warming connected? The amount of greenhouse gases present in the atmosphere has increased and the amount of heat trapped increased, leading to the temperature change. This is the reason for global warming. There's something called the runaway greenhouse effect. The runaway greenhouse effect is the process of trapping more heat than enough by greenhouse gases, leading to a stage where Earth faces difficulties in retaining surface water and maintaining temperatures for seasons. It occurs in the atmosphere and it is an issue for the Earth because of the increasing temperature and the greenhouse effect. Biochemistry works with the chemistry behind living things. This concept connects to the study of greenhouse gases through analyzing carbon dioxide, water vapor, ozone, and methane from living things. Through respiration, living beings inhale oxygen to generate carbon dioxide. The excreta, or waste including feces and urine, of the livestock are the biggest producers of methane gas. In fact, livestock and their byproducts account for at least 32,000 million tons of carbon dioxide per year, or 51% of all worldwide greenhouse gases emissions. And methane is 25 to 100 times more destructive than CO2 in a 20-year time frame, and we could be looking at emissions from agriculture to be increased to 80% by 2050. Just like me, you may be wondering, how do cows specifically affect climate change? Cows are ruminants, which means that those microbes in their multi-chambered stomachs help them digest their food by fermenting. This process alone produces the powerful greenhouse gas methane, which gets released into the atmosphere when they burp. The cow has 4 stomachs and undergoes a special digestive process to break down the tough and coarse food it eats. When the cow first eats, it chews this food just enough to swallow it. The unchewed food travels to the first 2 stomachs, which are called the rumen and the reticulum. Here is where it is stored till later. When the cow is full from this eating process, it takes a rest. After this, the cow coughs up the cud, which is another way of saying the food from before, and chews it completely, this time before swallowing it. The cud then goes to the 3rd and 4th stomach, the omasum and the abomasum, where it is fully digested. Then they burp after the food has gone through all 4 stomachs. Thus, one thing is clear: the living being has directly influenced the greenhouse effect. Biochemistry has tried to find out just this. We can also connect this to the metabolic process. Lake swamplands such as rice paddies are the single ones that have the greatest impression on GHG. The quantity of methane produced increases as the area of land cast off for fields expands to feed the expanding anthropogenic inhabitants. Acetate is divided into carbon dioxide and methane through the microbial metabolic development of metagenesis. Due to the active actions, a large quantity of the substance is flowing. During the lifespan, these metabolism activities consume a significant amount of energy. Classifying metabolic routes allows assessment architects to better understand the reason for reserve and ecological challenges, allowing them to suggest appropriate actions to improve the administration. Through rice fields, 11% of global agriculture nitrous oxide emissions are produced, and methane emissions from paddy soils range from 31 to 112 tg per year, contributing for up to 19% of total emissions. A solution to both problems would simply be changing our diet. One way to solve emissions from cows is eating less meat. This is not a long shot, as things like Beyond Meat burger patties have become a huge norm. By eating less meat, fewer cows are bred in a period of time, allowing a decrease in emissions. This basically means if we eat less meat, we breed fewer cows. An example of this would be, for say I'm a farmer that breeds roughly an estimate of 700 cows. If fewer people are eating meat, I will decrease that amount to about 400, allowing fewer cows to burp and release emissions into the air. Same thing with rice. If fewer people are eating rice, less rice is being produced, which is then helping the environment. Now, eating less rice is kind of impractical, as rice is a big part of culture all around the world. So what we can do is prevent submergence of rice fields and to cultivate upland rice or other upland crops. To conclude, greenhouse gases are bad. They cause climate change by trapping heat into the earth. Biochemistry focuses on processes happening at a molecular level so that greenhouse gases affect the atmosphere, radiation, water quality, which affects our bodies. So this is the connection in biochemistry. Now, the metabolic process is affected by the climate change through metabolic rate, as it increases because of the amount of kinetic energy is increased in cells. So this is a relationship between them. Two main factors are cattle production and rice paddy production. These issues can be solved by changing our diets. I hope you enjoyed this presentation on saving our planet. Thank you.